Hello and welcome to our latest video. I am Tom Foster, Tax Director at Lewis Brownlee, and today I'm joined by my colleague from the tax team, Steve Cameron. It's actually the peak of a heat wave today as we're recording this, although thankfully we both live a mile or so from the city. We decided to work at home and keep ourselves reasonably cool, at least I hope that's the case. How are you feeling there, Steve?
Yeah, plenty of water, and like you say, we're near the sea, so I'll be heading down to the beach after work. So we've decided to do a question and answer format for this video. So let's get straight to the point with the first question. So people have probably heard that there's a 1st of September deadline approaching for trusts. What is this deadline, Tom?
So there's now a requirement that nearly all express trusts, which means those that are created by a settler, usually by a written deed, have to be included on HMRC's trust registration service.
And why do the government want all these trusts to be formally registered?
The official line is it's all to do with measures to fight criminal activity, stop money laundering. So trusts have been used in the past by terrorists and criminals to conceal proceeds of crime and who owns those funds. And so the process is considered to be a way to help the government to know who are involved with all trust setups in the country and what assets they hold.
Okay, so the trust registration service isn't new though, is it?
No, it's not. It's been around since around 2015. But to date, the trusts which have had to register on that are chargeable trusts, which means those which have had some form of trust liability, tax liability.
So does that mean it's just non-chargeable trusts that now have to register?
Essentially, yes, but there are a few exceptions to that.
So which non-taxable trusts don't have to register then?
There are a few with special purpose, such as bereaved minor trusts, trusts with a vulnerable beneficiary, some will trusts which only have a temporary duration, which are in existence for less than 2 years. There's some 18 to 25 trusts, charitable trusts, pension trusts, and some very simple bare trusts, those which contain assets of less than £100, or maybe just a simple bank account.
Okay, so can you give me some examples of trusts that will have to register by the 1st of September?
Yeah, so clearly those which haven't yet had to, so haven't previously had a tax liability, and which aren't really straightforward. So there might be some instances whereby property ownership is distinguished between beneficial owners and legal owners, so you've got different trustees to beneficiaries. We also see a few, particularly with certain investments, there might be bonds which are written into trust as well, which can be used as part of some estate planning process. So in those kind of instances, the bonds can just sit there and accumulate wealth and not generate a tax liability until the end. So if you've got that kind of arrangement, then the trust associated with it will need to be registered now.
Okay, so how do trusts register?
So a lead trustee needs to come forward and they will need to create an organisation on the government gateway, and they'll be provided a user ID and password, and then they'll be able to visit the relevant page on the government's website and go through a process of registering that trust.
And how can Lewis Brownlee help?
So as agents, we actually have access directly to a portal, which will enable us to register trusts, and indeed we've been doing this since 2015 for those chargeable trusts. So we can complete the registration process on behalf of clients should they wish to, and then they can later claim that trust themselves. Again, they'll need to go through a process of getting a government gateway ID there.
Okay, and finally, what will happen to non-compliant trusts?
It's hard to say for certain at this moment in time, but HMRC will be given powers to issue fines. Whether such fines will be levied immediately after 1st September for non-compliant trusts will remain to be seen. I'd like to think there'll be a little bit of leeway, but certainly if people are then given a bit of warning subsequently and just don't do what's required of them, I would expect fines to be issued eventually.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Tom. So I think if we wrap it up there, and if anyone does want any of our help or support, do throw some queries towards either myself or Tom. Our contact information is on the screen now, and we'll leave you to enjoy the rest of this lovely weather.
Goodbye.